Have you ever been called into a meeting where you thought it was going to be a routine chat and then it turned into something completely different? This feels like an ambush. And when that happens, your stomach tightens, your throat closes up, and your mind just goes blank. And then you ask yourself, wait, what is this? If this is you right now, you are not failing, you are not broken, and you are not alone. There are many women that I work with, smart, hard-working women, who end up in these situations at work. And then they find themselves blindsided by a complaint from someone, a disciplinary process, maybe a PIP. And when this happens, it's extremely personal. It is scary, it is overwhelming, it is exhausting. That's why I've made this video. With this video, I'm hoping to give you some control back of the process. So let me tell you about a person I helped recently. I'll call her Ava. Ava was investigated for serious misconduct. And this was all because of this jokey comment that she made. What should have been a really minor thing then ended up being a really major thing for her and her job. For her, the threat was very real. She believed that they were going to march her out of the building after the meeting. But of course we managed to stop that, and the strategy we used was what I talk about in this video. It's likely you haven't heard of it. So there's a typical pattern to most disciplinary processes. The first thing you get is the investigation. So somebody might raise a concern or a problem, and then the company investigates. They start digging. Then of course they send you a letter where they outline some formal allegations in really serious language, and that'll land in your inbox. Then there's the meeting, and normally here is where you get your chance to explain yourself, tell your side of the story. Then it's decision time. They vanish and then they come back with an outcome. Here's the thing. If you are unaware of that fourth step being the final step, you might be caught unawares. Unless they are stopped, they will automatically move from step 3 to step 4 because they're allowed to. And when that happens, there's no further discussion, there's no more conversation, and you cannot clarify yourself anymore. It's just time for the final outcome. So here is where your control comes in. This is the secret weapon to gain control of the process. It is called the preliminary outcome. The preliminary outcome sits right there between step 3 and step 4. Think of it like a draft decision. They say, here's what we're thinking. We're going to give you an opportunity to provide us feedback before we finalize things. Why does this matter to you? Once that final decision is made, the process is completed. It is done. After that, if you have more to say, you are talking to a brick wall. If you think you've been treated unfairly, your only option then is to raise a personal grievance. And that might not be appropriate considering the process that they've followed. Or it's costly, exhausting, and time-consuming. The best thing is to try and stop that from happening. It's your opportunity to say, wait, let me explain. The really cool thing is, once you've done that, it gives you an opportunity to really be heard, for them to really listen to what you've got to say. So how do you ask for this? If you're in a process right now, the best thing to do is ask for it when you're in the meeting. But if you've already had your meeting, you can always ask for it before you receive that final outcome. There is still some time. So use this. You say, either verbally or in writing, could you please provide me with a preliminary outcome so that I can provide you with feedback before you make your final decision? That's it. You don't need any formal legalese. You don't need to plead anyone. You just ask for it. Plain and simple. Once you've asked for that, they are expected to comply. And what you've done for yourself by doing that is you've bought yourself some time, you've bought some space, and you've bought some opportunity to get clear on what's going on. So here's what you want to be looking for. Once that letter arrives, it should contain the following. What have they considered? What have they not considered? What outcome are they thinking of giving you? Why? And what do they think of your behavior so far? This insight into what they are thinking is gold to you. You receive the letter, what do you do now? Firstly, you read the letter. Make sure you understand what it says. Then do these 5 things. So don't panic email them. You're going to be upset, so take some time, breathe, and then review the situation. Then you want to highlight only the things that relate to the outcome. Anything that was missed, anything that you need to add. Stay factual, stay out of your emotions, less is more. You want to acknowledge if there's been any impact on any other people, or you need to clarify any of your own intentions. You might want to say things like, I can see how you thought this here, but what I really meant was this. Depending on what kind of outcome they've suggested for you, you want to come back with things that are helpful. Training, mentoring, coaching. Show that you are interested in your job and interested in the company. You want to show that you're proactive. Now you want to make sure you get everything down in writing. If you've provided some verbal feedback in a meeting or something, you want to make sure that you go and write that down, because you never know what they heard you say. So be clear. Unfortunately, if something isn't written down, it's very easy to say it doesn't exist. Please try to avoid doing this. Don't get into a massive debate. Don't go silent on them. It might look like you're agreeing with what they are saying. Don't overshare and don't confess to anything beyond what is needed. Don't stall or sit on your answer, because you might lose your opportunity to provide your feedback. The great opportunity you've given yourself here is to turn this one-way conversation into this two-way conversation. This one small step, asking for a preliminary outcome, it could be the difference between being ignored and being heard. It's like your emergency brake to this whole HR process. I know how hard it is to go through these things, and I'm here if you need me. If you are going through something tough at work right now, if you're in some trouble, please know this. You are not broken. This is not the end. And you are not alone. Get control of the situation, and if you need any help, I'm here. My contact details are listed in the link below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.